NJPW exclusive! Alright everybody, today we have Hanson from War Machine joining us. So welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Everyone knows tomorrow night he'll be wrestling for Chaotic Wrestling at Breaking Point. I believe you're facing JT Dunn.
Yep.
Well, actually, me and Jeremy will be at that show tomorrow night, so we should be in
Oh, cool.
We booked it like a couple of weeks ago. We bought the tickets, and then yesterday talking to you, I went back on, and I was like, hey, holy shit, he's going to be there too.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's me and JT Dunn. This is our big rematch, actually, from Cold Fury, Chaotic's biggest show of the year. This is their second biggest show of the year. They decided to give us a rematch. They just put up a hype video online, too, you can check out if you're interested. I posted it, Chaotic Wrestling posted it, JT Dunn posted it, so it's pretty easy to find.
Cool, we'll definitely go check that out. Honestly, this is our first Chaotic show we've ever been to. We've grown up in Mass. It's just...
No, we've been to one. We went to one at the Knights of Columbus on 28 in Salem, and we saw Low Key wrestle. That's what I remember the most about that one.
Oh, okay. Methuen.
Yeah,
that's
right. It's Methuen. We're in the line. We ran there quite a long time. So
yeah.
I must have wrestled on the show, too, but I was just a young, handsome Johnny. That was a long time ago. I wrestled Loki in that building. If it wasn't me, he wrestled him. You probably wrestled John Walters. I think those were the only two times that we had.
Yeah, so it could have been you. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You started with Chaotic back in what? I think 2001?
I started training in 2001, but I didn't actually get hooked up with Chaotic until 2002. I want to say it was right before Cold Fury 2. I wrestled one show, and actually Methuen, that same venue, that was where I debuted for Chaotic.
Oh,
and then
awesome.
Early 2003 is when I started training at the school, and I was full-time with their roster.
We're all from Methuen. That's where we all grew
Oh,
up.
it's cool.
Yeah. You never realize, how much wrestling actually is happening, in Massachusetts, especially, the caliber.
Yeah, no, especially back then, I had to get as much work as possible to get experience. Mm-hmm. So there were so many wrestling promotions back then running, and there's still a ton now. It's changed a lot over the years. Talent's changed a lot. Back then there wasn't a lot of talent, and now there is a ton of talent.
Yeah. Even across the indie scene in general now, it's crazy how much pure talent's out there compared to even 10 years ago, the caliber of wrestling.
Yeah, but it's easy to think about it, though, because wrestling was in a drought 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And wrestling, there wasn't drawing crowds. When I first started wrestling, a good crowd for an indie show was 150 people. And a good payday is if you're getting $50. I didn't get much more than $25 a show for the first few years I was wrestling. It was a difficult time. But that because wrestling was in a drought and it was in a down period, there weren't a lot of guys who were getting into it. And now wrestling's changed, and it's starting to get popular again, and all these talented guys are coming out and becoming professional wrestlers.
I think it has a lot, just the internet now. It's so much easier to see, even New Japan, it's so much easier just to watch New Japan matches than it's ever been, because you can just go on YouTube and pull up all that stuff. So,
yeah, and even now they put it on Access and stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't do that back in the day. It was just all you had was WWE, especially, and then TNA, and that's all you had.
Yeah, and before that it was WWE and WCW and ECW. And in that era, in that time period, even up until not that long ago, the only way you could see Japanese wrestling is through tapes.
Yeah.
Tapes or even DVDs. And even DVDs are hard to get because DVDs that are made in, I don't know if they still are, but at one point in time, DVDs that are made in Japan don't actually play in our DVD players.
Huh.
So for a long time, it was very hard to see any Japanese wrestling. And now, wrestling in general, you can watch stuff from Mexico, you can watch stuff from England, you can watch stuff from Germany, you can watch stuff from Ireland, from Canada, from Japan, all these places, and you don't have to leave your house. It's all right on the internet.
Especially guys that are going into the down the lower scenes, going into Ring of Honor, New Japan, and WWE. Everyone has kind of a following now that I don't think existed before, because people can just see them and know them before they even get there.
Yeah. And then if you see somebody in a match that you like online, you're going to be able to find them on social media, and you can probably interact with them personally, which is nuts.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine, like, interacting with, like, The Rock or Stone Cold 15 years ago in the prime, like, that you can now.
What Rock would do.
It's nuts to think about. It's crazy.
So we know, because you're saying you started wrestling back in 2002. What is, like, we're a big span, besides, like, just name, getting out there more, like, what do you think is, like, the biggest change you've seen with wrestling, besides kind of, like, what we already talked about with the internet?
The biggest change, I mean, I know you said not the internet, but it really is the internet. And GIFs have really changed wrestling, in my opinion. The people just making, or GIFs, whatever you want to call them, people making those and putting them online and seeing all these cool moves all the time. It's made a lot of people real popular real quick who haven't even had a lot of experience. They can just do a cool move, and now the GIF comes out, and now all of a sudden they're a popular superstar. That's a big change. And then WWE also acknowledging the fact that independent professional wrestling exists. They've acknowledged indie pro wrestling, or even New Japan. I watched WrestleMania this year, and when Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows came out, the commentators mentioned that they were former IWGP Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Not something that they would have done even 2-3 years ago.
But I feel like they have to at this point.
What's that? Sorry?
They have to at this point, because half their roster are all from New Japan and Ring of Honor. Like, half their talent's from there. It's like, at this point, it's like, it's dumb to, like, pretend like they don't exist, you know?
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And they're hiring guys who have experience, which for a very long time, and a very frustrating time period in my career, when I was trying to get noticed by WWE, and when I did get noticed by WWE, it was always, hey, we're looking for guys who are 6'2", 220, abs, and probably don't have any wrestling experience, so that we can teach them how to wrestle. So and now it's okay. You got 16 years experience. All right, we're interested. We're interested now. Oh, you don't have abs? That's okay. We have a wellness policy, so you don't need abs.
That's true. That is with WWE, where it's like, no matter your body style now, it's, hey, you can wrestle, people enjoy watching you can connect with the crowd, like, come on over.
Look at KO.
Yeah.
KO's killing it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Those are major changes in wrestling. And people can make a living now in wrestling on the indies, which was unheard of. Like I said earlier, 10 years ago, I'm sure when you guys crammed the Methuen Knights of Columbus 10 years ago, 12 years ago, probably 12 years ago, there was 150, 200 people there, and that was a great house.
Yeah,
now, not so much. A great house is a lot more people, and they're buying merch. They're buying T-shirts. That never happened 10, 15 years ago either. People who came to indie shows didn't buy a thing. They just kind of sat in their hands and watched the show.
And a lot of them,
wrestling's just really exciting right now.
Yeah, because it is crazy. Like, you'll go to, like, even like Ring of Honor, you go to, like, WWE shows, and the amount of, like, clothing people are wearing for wrestlers that aren't even in that promotion, but are, like, lower indie guys that haven't made it up there yet. It's crazy seeing it, because, like, you never used to see stuff like that, like, at a Raw 15 years ago. You never see, like, a Bullet Club shirt. Now they're everywhere. It's crazy.
Well, and that's what's funny about that. That's kind of the story behind the Hot Topic deal. Whatever the exec was who works for Hot Topic, or maybe he owns Hot Topic. I don't know if the exact person or detail who did it. He went to WrestleMania, saw all these Young Buck and Bullet Club shirts, and said, Jesus, I got to sell these at Hot Topic. And he contacted WWE, and they're like, oof, sorry, man, these aren't our shirts. We can't help you. and he had to search out the Young Bucks and the Bullet Club to find these shirts to put in the stores.
I think we went to a Ring of Honor pay-per-view last month. It was pretty much 90% non-WWE. It's insane. Like, you'd never expect that.
So we kind of touched on... Sorry.
What pay-per-view you guys go to?
What it was called? It was in Lowell, though.
Oh, it was in Lowell. Okay. So I was there. That's all I'm asking. I was there. It was me and Ray against the Bucks and Best Friends.
That was last year, right? Last September. That
was this year. Last year we were in a big four-way.
With
this year,
Delta Castle and
yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, we were there for that one too.
Awesome.
Yeah, we saw that one too. And I will say, like, when I watch your matches, and I've seen like a bunch of them online and in person, like, you don't, going back to kind of what we're talking about, like because you're a bigger guy and the moves you can do and like how quick you are, and you can do like the moonsault. To me, it's crazy, and I think that's awesome. It's like you usually see a big guy in a ring, you're thinking like, okay, we're just gonna get some power moves, a couple punches, and then you're running back and forth like faster than the little guys. You're doing moonsaults. It's crazy to watch.
So, thank you very much. It's really, I mean, if you ever follow my Instagram, it's hashtag 305live. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I've kind of built my own little thing with this. It's a interesting dynamic that a big guy, really, for the most part, in history hasn't really had. And then when you look at the dynamic of me and Ray as a team, historically, when you see a tag team and there's a big guy and there's a small guy, the smaller guy is the one who moves better, moves more, that does some high flying. Mm-hmm. And the bigger guy is a guy who, like you said, does these big punch, kick, big power moves. And with me and Ray, despite our look, he is the small guy, I'm the big guy, but we reverse the roles. He's the strong one. He's ridiculously strong. He throws people over his head. He picks guys up and he hits them like a Mack truck. And me, I'm the one 305 live, running around the ring, doing handspring tajiri elbows and moonsaults.
Yeah, I think, I forget what match I was watching the other day, and you did like a swanton to the outside, hit a couple of guys, and I was just like, yeah, I don't see like Braun Strowman doing stuff like this. Or like, the only one guy I think was like Bam Bam doing a moonsault back in the day. That's really all I can ever think of when I see it.
Yeah. So it's just an interesting dynamic. It's what makes, one of the things that makes Ray and I stand out as a team. It's not something that's ever happened before.
Going back to what you said about the indies, where like nowadays you can actually maybe even more money. Than do you think?
Yeah.
Like more guys are going to start leaving WWE and going to the indie? Pretty much it's the same thing. If they don't like how it's going in WWE, like
yeah,
it's actually competition now, which is good.
Yeah, exactly. For a very long time, if you wanted to make good money, you had to be in WWE. And with this surge, with the Bullet Club, New Japan really becoming the second biggest wrestling promotion in the world, Ring of Honor selling all their events, new management at TNA, and guys actually getting their paychecks on time.
That always helps.
And the stuff that we're able to do in Mexico, I go to Mexico next week and making good money in Mexico. When we head over to England, the European countries, making good money over there. If you hustle, man, you can make some really, really, really good money. And now guys in WWE are taking notice of this. I mean, who was it? Neville just walked out, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think we're probably going to be seeing a lot more of that? Because I know like Meltzer's gone on saying like, no, he just don't think that's going to happen. But you're there with these guys. Do you think that's going to happen more as we go forward?
Yeah, I do. And I think it's with guys who will have been there for a while and are frustrated with their spot. There's still no argument that once you get to the main roster in WWE and they're using you and they're throwing you on the video games and you're getting wrestling figures, you're making a lot of money. So, like, I think, and this is a personal opinion, this is not something that Cody said to me, but I feel like Cody made a ton of money with WWE, a ton of money with the fact that he feels like he is set for a while. And it gave him the cushion to, when he got frustrated with his character and his career as a professional, as a performer in WWE, that money gave him the cushion to say, all right, I'm going to bet on myself and go to these indies where it looks like guys are making money. And he has excelled, crazy excelled, and he's making money hands over fist. Now, is he making the same money he was making in WWE? Hell no. Hell no. But he's making good money and he's reinventing himself so that maybe someday he can go back to a major promotion like that and make even more money than he's making before.
Now, a personal question here. Like, when you see these guys like Austin Aries and Neville that are going back instead of staying in WWE, does that personally scare, like, you guys of maybe going to WWE and, like, just staying where you're comfortable already? Does it give you, like, more comfort staying where you are than going and having, like, the messing with your opportunity?
It's like the there and to go.
It's difficult. When you see, and it's not just like Neville and Aries. You see all the guys from developmental who have left. You see, like we spent a lot of time with Juice Robinson, who was CJ Parker in NXT. We spent a lot of time with him, and and hear his stories when we were over in Japan, and Bull James and Sami Callihan, and the list goes on and on and on. Or even guys who are NWE and even just got released. It's talking to those guys and hearing their experiences. You really understand that going to WWE is a major gamble. And yeah, you could make some serious money if they're using you, but then, just in developmental, they have over 100 guys. So the likelihood that you're able to navigate your way through NXT and make it to the main roster and be used on a regular basis as, a top or semi-top, even mid-card guy, it's extremely, extremely low of chances to be able to have that happen. So, hearing all these guys' stories and then seeing guys in the main roster leave, it's a little, I guess intimidating is the word. It makes you nervous about what your career decisions are. And knowing, especially with us, knowing that we're in New Japan now and things are going so well and New Japan's expanding into America, as we saw with their LA shows last year, and then, as you mentioned, the Access Television show and their online app, New Japan World, like, we're in a real good place. Is it worth it for us to leave what we have right now to go to that uncertainty
then you
of the
become
WWE?
One
It's hard. It's hard
eight
to make
tag
that decision.
teams. Because WWE right now, they have each show has maybe 6-7 tag teams, and you become just one of those 6.
And look at Gallows and Anderson, one of the big tag teams in New Japan, and they barely use them. They don't use them right.
No.
Barely use them at all. So
it's a risk. Everything's a risk, and you got to weigh your options and figure out what's best for you. And right now, for us, we're not signed anywhere, but we're enjoying New Japan, so that's where our focus is.
So are people that are on the lower card and not being used, they're paid differently? I thought they were all on guaranteed contracts for the year or something.
Contracts are different. They're set up differently. And I don't know how they're doing it now. I know at one point in time, they would give guys options on how to get paid. And one option would be the guaranteed pay. This is what you get. No matter how many times we use you, this is how much money we're paying you. And then there's a gamble you can take where this is your downside guarantee, which is it's a lot lower, but you get a percentage of every show that you're on. So if you're on every house show and every TV and the pay-per-views and stuff like that, then you have a greater chance of making a lot more money than you would if you were on just the normal downside guarantee. You follow?
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, it kind of explains why Neville and Austin Aries are leaving. Because if they use them for a couple months and then after that they're just in the background, so now they're not getting paid as much. That explains the disgruntledness.
Well, weren't they saying that anyway with Neville? It was because him and Austin Aries' match was in the pre-show, so he didn't get royalties for WrestleMania, which makes sense. If you're at WrestleMania, and that was one of the best matches at WrestleMania, you want to get paid. Everyone wants to get paid.
Yeah, that's the biggest payday of the year, WrestleMania bonus. And to get straight out of that, that's a lot of money, man.
For you as a wrestler coming up through for all these years trying it, isn't there that inside you I kind of want to get there because that's that was it growing up, WWF, WWE. So it must be that part of you. It's I need to see if I can do this. Yeah,
it's always the ultimate goal. But for me, and I don't know how it is for everybody else, but I reached a certain point. I've been in the business for 16 years. And I reached a certain point where I said, you know what? I've come to terms with this never happening. And I'm happy with the things that I've accomplished. And if I don't ever make it there, I'm proud of what I've done. It took me a long time to come to terms with that, but I did. And that was before, it was when I went in for surgery, shoulder surgery, in 2001. And I come to terms with everything. But then I made a decision that I thought I was done wrestling in general. I thought wrestling was over because the surgery, the shoulder injury was so bad. But I came back from that, and I grew out the beard and lost all the weight and got in great shape, and opportunity started happening for me. And that's how I got into Ring of Honor. And then that's eventually what led me to New Japan. So even before that, I come to terms with not making it. So
I would have.
If I never make it, I am super proud of everything that I've done.
You should be.
And do I need them right now? I don't. I don't need them. Would I love to get a guaranteed, contract to with a whole lot of zeros on there? Of course. Would I love to wrestle in WWE or go to WrestleMania? Of course, that's your dream as a child. But I'm in a good place to have come to terms with it. It's okay to not go there. It's okay. What I've done's okay.
I agree. Like personally, I'd love to see like War Machines in WWE, just because it's all those all the tag teams you guys haven't faced before. So it'd be great to watch. But if it doesn't happen, you guys are still killing it everywhere else. You, the Young Bucks, like all you guys are great matches you're having across the world. That's for as a fan, it's as long as we get to watch. I honestly I don't care where you're at as long as you keep wrestling. That's all we care about.
Yeah, I mean, and we love wrestling these guys. Like the Young Bucks, man. We wrestled them now. Ring of Honor, New Japan. We wrestled them in England. So literally all over the world wrestling these guys and having killer matches. And it's great. Yeah, and the other great thing about the indies is you're not restrained or you're not held down by whatever the marketing is for the company or whatever the timeline guidelines are or whatever moves they have banned or language they have banned. We're able to go out there and do whatever we want.
Like, you guys on the indie scene, like, what do you guys think of this, like, with the cease and desist and kind of, like, the pettiness going on with WWE towards the Bullet Club, and then, like, how does that, do you guys out in the indies perceive it, and, like, what does it make you think of the WWE?
I mean, it's awesome. it's awesome. It seems so stupid to us that the WWE would even do that. Like you said, like the pettiness of it. All they're doing by sending the Young Bucks to cease and desist is acknowledging their existence and making them credible. So by them doing that, puts a bigger spotlight on the indies, a bigger spotlight on the Young Bucks, a bigger spotlight on all the professional wrestling out there that is not WWE. So whatever, man, just keep sending those cease and desist to the Young Bucks and keep shining the spotlight this way and getting us more fans. It's really started a crazy movement. You go to these Ring of Honor shows now, and the fans are chanting "One Sweet."
That's awesome.
Like, it's awesome. We got to wrestle the Young Bucks in Newcastle, England. It was their first match after the cease and desist letter came out, and it was ridiculous because the fans are just frenzied over the whole thing. They rallied behind them like a cult, they're all the fans are just they're in it to be a part of the cause, and the Young Bucks didn't do that. The WWE did. So I think it's wonderful. Please keep being mean to the Young Bucks, and it's only helping indie wrestling. So
it is like that. Like, you're right. It's like this is something like WWE would do with like WCW back in the day because they actually saw them as like, oh shit, these guys are gonna take a piece of our audience. So by like acknowledging what Young Bucks are doing, it shows like WWE might be a little scared of like you guys out in the indie scene like taking that audience away because you guys are putting on amazing matches all around the world, and they're just like, shit. Like, we have to do something to stop this.
I think you guys need to go further. You should start like carrying a snake to the ring. Maybe, like say "ooh yeah" all the time.
Whatever.
I mean, you're right. And the real funny thing is they only sent that cease and desist about the too sweet hand gesture to the Young Bucks. So everybody else in the Bullet Club can still use it.
I did not know that.
Well, the Young Bucks can't do anything. They have to like sit there. Sorry.
I know I've seen
wave to you.
I know I've seen Ro do a couple Superman punches before, so I assume you guys will be getting one soon from them as well.
We sure will. Well, they're going to send me one for doing the Bronco Buster.
All moves are just like they own them all. Everything's theirs now.
I think your Bronco Buster is probably worse to take than X-Pac. I think I'd rather take a Bronco Buster.
I don't know, man. I don't want someone riding my face in the corner like that.
It's okay if you have a beard, though.
Man, I come in, it's just one and done, and we're done. I don't feel sit there and ride.
I know we were wondering, because we've talked about, you guys with the Young Bucks across the world. How many super kicks do you think you've taken in your career from the Young Bucks?
Not even career, like last month.
Yeah, quite a few. They're having a couple matches where we wrestle the Bucks and they haven't thrown super kicks.
Wow.
Yeah,
well,
they like to.
They don't want to get sued by Shawn Michaels.
Sometimes they're throwing 1,000 super kicks. Sometimes they're throwing none. It's fun because everyone's expecting it, and then they don't come. So
you're messing with people now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've taken up enough of your time today. If again, we want to thank you for coming on, talking to us, sharing some stories of the indie world. Maybe hopefully we could do this again sometime. Talk about how everything's going.
You want to talk about the Patriots or the Bruins? That's fine too.
Yes. I assume you're from Boston, so you're probably a Pats fan.
Of course.
How do you think we're gonna do now that Dante Hightower is out for the season, which happens today? So I'm not excited.
We're going to find out, man. I mean, we've been able to rally before with injuries, so
yeah,
Tom Brady's a special man. So
that's the thing. Any other team loses 3 of their best players, and they're well, they're fucked. Patriots do it. It's we'll figure it out.
We got Tom Brady. He's like Jesus.
Get the Gatorade guy on the field in uniform. He'll get the ball to him. It's all right.
Exactly.
Once again, thanks for coming by. Everyone listening, make sure go online, check out War Machine, check out some of the matches. They're great. I know you'll be at K-Doc Wrestling tomorrow at Breaking Point, and Saturday you'll be in Rhode Island for XWA.
Yeah.
So good luck with
cage match.
Oh, a cage match. I think they're doing a cage match tomorrow. Yes, I saw that. Chaotic too.
There's a cage match tomorrow, but I'm not in the cage match tomorrow. I'm in the cage match in Rhode Island. And tomorrow in Haverhill, they got Ryback on the show. And then for XWA in Rhode Island, you can find information online if you're in Rhode Island and want to watch the show. Kevin Nash is on the show, and I'll be in a cage match. So that should be a good show too.
Well, we'll see you tomorrow. Me and Jeremy will be at Chaotic. So if you see some people yelling at you "Hey, I talked to you yesterday," that'll be me.
That's perfect. Yeah, so if you guys can, follow me on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram. My Instagram's great. It chronicles all my travels around the world. They're both Warbeard Hanson, at Warbeard Hanson. You can find me. And if you're looking for ink, check out the Ink Club in Billerica. I just got a brand new tattoo yesterday, and the tattoos are what led me to this podcast. So
Randy gets all his tattoos.
All my tattoos are by Steve at the Ink Club too, and he does a great job. The best.
And you can check out the pictures of the tattoos I got. They're on my Instagram as well. So
sweet.
Cool, guys.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for talking. Good luck over the weekend.
Thanks a lot. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you then.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.